I will be doing makeup in this video while I talk about autism. So, I'm sorry if you don't like that. I guess you're probably expecting me just sitting here talking, but I can't do that when I talk about this subject. I've tried twice now and I need to be doing something actively while why are my glasses so crooked? Sorry. I need to actively be doing something while I talk about shit. Hi, my name is Princess Sherbert. If you're new to my channel, which some of you probably will be for this video, I've always wanted to be a really honest creator ever since I started doing this almost 2 years ago now. And if you're a fan and you've noticed I haven't been posting videos a lot lately, this is part of the reason why. And my phone went off. Of course it did. I just want to be completely honest with you guys and talk about what I struggle with and the issues I have with my autism. So I hope you guys enjoy while I do my makeup probably badly. Is my head tilted or is it my glasses? And let's get into it. So I was actually diagnosed, I'm recording, not streaming, okay, good, with autism in my early 20s, right before I actually started this channel, about, I want to say a year prior, can't really remember, I think like a year prior I started this channel. I was diagnosed by 4 out of 5 specialists that I had autism, and no, I didn't catch it, like the fucking weird ass people try to like pretend or are like convinced. I'm using a primer on my face, by the way, that you can catch it. I've always been autistic. Where I lived, it wasn't common for girls to get diagnosed as children. They tried actually telling my mom at one point I was ADHD, which she called bullshit, and she luckily did not put me on the ADHD meds they recommended, because she was like, my kid's not autistic. Problem is, my mom still thinks I'm not autistic, but she was, a broken clock is right at least twice a day, I think the saying is. I need a little more right there because of my fucking eyebrow. And so I was like, I got actually officially diagnosed by my still therapist, Mark. Hi, Mark. He watches my content. He'll never comment because he uses his full name for his YouTube channel, because he just signed in with his email and he won't change it, so he won't comment. But hi, Mark. Thank you for watching. I'll see you on Wednesday. And it was really funny because I was telling him like these things of how I was feeling, and he was like, let's get you an autism test, kid. And I'm like, no, my roommate, Danny is autistic. I'm not like Danny. We get along and we have a lot of similar personalities, but he was diagnosed at 3. No, I can't be autistic, dude. It's like, let's get an autism test. Which is really funny now, because it's like, I tell my friends, and when I first told my friends, that I'm like, yeah, I'm autistic, diagnosed. They're like, that makes sense. Fake bitches. No one told me this shit. No one said you give autism vibes. I get virgin vibes all the time, but not autism. I mean, you guys watching this channel could also be like, oh no, yeah, this makes sense. Yeah, you are autistic as fuck, babe. I'm going in with the e.l.f. eyebrow tint. I didn't realize it was a tint, the gel shit. So I have eyebrows. And it was a lot at first, because it was why I was talking to my therapist about these feelings. I was telling him I just don't feel air quote normal. I feel like I shouldn't be struggling, ironic with the podcast name, so much as I am. And he was like, yeah, no, you shouldn't be. And my therapist before that, who I stopped going to, instead wanted to just medicate me. And then when the meds didn't work, he accused me of not trying and not taking them. And trust me, I took the meds. I had to actually, like, I haven't talked this a lot, but I actually had to call a friend of mine because one of the meds actually suddenly made me want to, myself, and I've never actually really experienced it to that severity before. So I had to call a friend. I had to get somewhere safe, and I'm like, I'm scared. I don't want to just check myself into a hospital. And they were like, no, like, let's not do that. That could really fuck up your life, and your job, and, like, all the shit that you got going for you. So just stay here. And I did, and I'm fine. It was just the meds doing it, because it just, for some reason, went, the way it shouldn't. And when I was telling him about that, he was just a shitty therapist, and I'm so glad I immediately switched, and I still decided to keep going to therapy instead of, like a lot of people, sadly, who have a bad experience, just stop going, which I don't blame them. It's terrible, it's hard. But then I found Mark, and Mark was great, and Mark takes my insurance, so that's even better. And I'm very lucky my job offers such good insurance to pay for bi-weekly sessions. It used to be weekly. Oh yeah, I'm fucked up, guys. I'm fucked up. It used to be weekly sessions. Now it's bi-weekly, and we're even talking about going down to monthly. And then maybe just stopping altogether at some point. So that's, like, a little exciting for me. But yeah, I got the diagnosis. It was really funny because he was on vacation doing paperwork because he's a workaholic, I swear to God. And he was, like, looking through the stuff, and he's like, okay, like, we should actually, like, talk about this. And he calls me Christmas Day, because the next day he was on vacation. I can't fucking remember where. And it was not Christmas anymore. So he's like, hey, how was your holiday? As I'm, like, opening presents with people, being like, good. It's going good. Is everything okay? And he's like, shit, I forgot. Call me tomorrow. I'm like, no, what's up? He's like, I think we can officially be like, you're autistic, dude. And I was like, Merry fucking Christmas to me. Wow, an autism diagnosis. Yeah, and then I'm doing the, like, obligated, like, family Christmas calls, and immediately I told my mom, I'm like, I have autism, and she's like, huh? I'm like, I have autism. I just got the diagnosis. And she's like, no, sweetie, you're just weird. We've talked about this. And it's like, no, Mom, it's official now. My dad's also kind of like, I don't think you're autistic. And it's like, well, you also, like, didn't think it was weird of me to be obsessed with X-Men and watch the same VHS tape over and over and over and go, like, nonverbal and, like, silently play with my Barbies and have an imaginary friend because other kids did, and I would tell you guys, like, I have an imaginary friend. I know they're imaginary. It's like, no, I didn't do normal kid shit. Me borrowing your sunglasses because the store lights hurt and I would have meltdowns. It's like, no, that's not normal. At least I don't think it is. Other kids weren't doing that in our area. And I'll probably be using that word a lot to describe, like, neurotypical people, but I don't actually mean, like, there's something wrong with me or other autistic people. I'm just using that as kind of, like, the blanket term for people who are, like, not fucked up. Don't come at me for saying we're fucked up, either. Come on. Like, let's be real, guys. But a lot of the issues I had growing up was, like, kids didn't like me. I didn't understand why kids didn't like me. I didn't understand social cues. I didn't understand, like, it wasn't that I, like, was, like, I don't want to make friends and I was antisocial. Like, a lot of people try to, or not a lot of people, like, a lot of media will show autism. Mine was the opposite. I was overzealous. I was over, like, why don't kids want to spend time with me? I really want to make friends, and I kind of just went, like, running into a wall and ran through it like Looney Tunes, where it's like, okay, chill, that's not how you do that. But you don't know that as a kid. They just think you're weird. And then I try to, like, talk about the things I liked, and other kids didn't like those things. And it was hard, which is probably why my best friend is still my best friend to this day from kindergarten. I wish I could quit you, boo. I love you for jiggles. And that's just what I dealt with, I remember my parents also, or not my parents, but my grandparents would sign me up for, like, a shit ton of, like, extracurricular activities as a kid. Like, I took tumbling, dance, swim lessons. I think I did, like, a bunch of, like, summer program shit, too, with other kids. I went to the pool all the time. Like, I did, like, a lot of shit. And I remember when people would ask me if I like it, I'd be like, yeah, I like it. And they would be like, oh, do you want to keep doing it? I'm like, I don't have to. Because I don't know how to explain, like, how I felt with it. Like, it was like, yeah, like, it's cool, but, like, I didn't have the same level of, like, yeah, this is fucking awesome, I need to keep doing this, like other kids had. Until I got into video games, because I feel like if someone was like, okay, we'll stop buying video games, I would have been like, them. You know, just, like, 5-year-old hand around the throat of my parent and be like, no. I'm just saying. And that's just a lot what I experienced with. I'm going through my bag of makeup down here, if you guys are wondering what the fuck I'm doing down here. I'm not doing a lot of makeup while I talk about this, I will add, but enjoy my jingle down here. Would this help if I just jingled it at you guys? Have I lost some of you? Where is it? I saw you, and I jingled you wrong. There it goes. I'm going in with a tinted foundation balm, just because my eyes are, like, exhausted from traveling. So I'm just putting a little under here to rub in. And so I didn't have, like, that, like, you know, where I was like, oh, I want to, like, you know, with a lot of things. I was like, I can do this or I cannot do it, you know. I like talking to people. I like spending time with people. But in our, you know, small town, there wasn't really, like, a just social group for kids. And if there was, it was a bunch of kids who didn't fucking like me. So it was a little lonely as a kid. Me and the Jiggles, I think, have talked about this before, but we're very close, and we were even as kids. But when we were entering second grade, the Jiggles switched schools because of shit going on in her own personal life. I don't know how much she would care if I told you guys or not, so I'm leaving it at that. So I was, like, alone again in school. Because a lot of my friends, we had 2, like, elementary schools, so my friends from, like, daycare and shit went to the other one. And so it was kind of, I just had for Jiggles. Kindergarten and first grade. And then I suddenly didn't have her at all. So I learned masking very quickly, actually. And at the time, for the longest time, I am so dry right now, oh my god. I didn't know that's what I started doing. I actually thought I was a shitty person for the longest time as a kid, because I thought I was lying, and I wasn't, like, actually active lying, because I hate lying. I don't know if that's an autism thing or just morals, but for the longest time, I thought it was, like, me, like, you know, having to, like, fake my face and my emotions and stuff. I felt like I was a big fat fucking liar for years. Excuse me, and that was really fucking hard. I just said fuck a lot right there. Okay. And I don't know, that's just how, what I dealt with, was the fact that I had a lot of pent-up feelings. And then I got a little older, and luckily our schools merged. Like, I want to say, maybe it was second grade, but it was still weird. Maybe it was third, I can't remember. But our schools merged with the other one. So a lot of my friends from previous school, or, like, the school that got switched, were at my other school. But they also came with their new friends, and trying to fit in again was just terrible. But it was a little easier. And then, you know, I got a little into boys. You know, because I hit puberty very young. I started getting, like, boobs, I kid you guys not, for 4th grade. I had to wear a trainer in 4th grade. As you can tell, there's a lot going on down here. And yeah, I had to wear a trainer in 4th grade because a girl made fun of me, saying I need to put on a bra when I was wearing a tank top. I barely knew what bras were, to be honest. Probably should have known more, but I didn't, about bras. And I had, like, a whole panic attack meltdown in the middle of school over it, because I thought I did something wrong after I was, you know, starting to do better. And I got treated like shit, even by teachers for it. Because they're like, you shouldn't be like, yeah, it was mean, but you shouldn't be having this, like, strong of an emotion. Like, I thought you got over this. I thought we got over this, Sherby, that you're no longer having these issues. And it's like, I thought I did too. You're telling me, pal, I thought I fixed it too. And there wasn't, like, anything to fix of me at the time. I was just a small autistic child who had a lot of big feelings, a lot of emotions, and then I was masking for so long that I didn't realize it till that moment that, like, oh, there's something still kind of wrong with me. Again, I'm not saying autistic people are wrong, but, like, you the other autisms know what I'm going through, right? It's, I just called us autisms. I'm going in now with the ColourPop Jelly Much eyeshadow. I don't remember what fucking color it is. Sage Bundle. It's a long-ass name for that. And it was hard, because it was like, because she made a scene, and then kids were looking at me funny again, and it's like, I worked so hard for so many years not to be looked at that way, just for it to be, what felt like in that moment, just ruined. It was just ruined for me. It felt like in that moment, because everyone stared, everyone started to laugh, and then, of course, because kids are mean, other kids started to chime in about it, and I'm 10. I'm just 10. I'm 10 getting made fun of, because apparently I needed a bra, because I was getting little A-cup titties, and, you know, I went home to my parents about it, and we got me the trainer after they sent me down, and they're like, no, kids are really mean, and that sucks, but yeah, we need to get you a bra. You need to get used to bras. And ew. Now it's like, I don't know, I have such a mixed feeling about bras now, because, like, I've worn them for so long that, like, I've gotten kind of used to them, but also there's another part of me that's like, get it off. You know, like a lot of women feel, but, like, especially when I first started wearing them, I was starting to have, like, meltdowns in class again, because of how it touched me, and then the constricting feeling. Even the little trainers, they're basically just, like, little, tanks or crop tops that you wear under your stuff. At least mine were. I don't know about newer ones or other people's, but that's where mine were. But it was just the fact that it was like, why am I basically wearing a shirt with a shirt is what it felt like. And it just led to more issues that year. And kids calling me weird again. And then we had lived in a small-ass town, so Sherby's just the weird girl. I was the weird girl up until probably my senior year of high school, and then I was the fucking bitch because kids were mean to me for all those years, and then when they stopped being mean to me, I was like, no, you don't get to just be nice to me suddenly. I'm gonna put the rest of this just on my collarbone right there, so it's just off my hands. I don't want to wipe it on my pajama pants, because then it's just fuzzies on my hand. And so I got really depressed, and I went back to masking, and I genuinely do not remember most of middle school. I don't actually remember most of, like, 2nd and 3rd grade, and most of 4th grade. After I started masking, I don't know if I was dissociating at the time, or I was just going through the motions. I was probably some form of, like, dissociating, looking back, but no, I don't remember most of. People talk about stuff that happened then. I don't remember it. I don't remember most of the kids I went to, and I have a graduating class of 100. I should know at least some of them, but I fucking don't. And I think that's why. It was just, my brain was, like, trying to survive. And so I had to survive autism. And that's terrible. That's not what I'm saying at all. But it's a joke. I'm joking. Yeah, it was a lot. And then, of course, like, you know, I got a little older, and I didn't understand people who wouldn't be honest about things. So that led to a lot of issues with friends and boys, because it's like, I don't like people who just, like, kind of beat around the bush. It's like, just fucking tell me what you mean. Tell me what you mean. Because I can't do that mental gymnastics. Like, I can with some people, but it's like, why can't we just be honest? You know, as a person, it's like, just give it to me right out. Like, I'd rather you hurt my feelings in this moment than, like, what are we doing? Why are you fucking around with how I feel? You know, and I'm still like that as a person, but, like, I don't think at the time This is really hard to do eyeliner and talk. Oh my god, I've never really had to do this. I didn't really have to experience that quite yet. This, like, odd, like, anger when it came to people. Where it's like, why can't you just be honest? And even to this day, I'm gonna be real with you guys, I still don't get why we couldn't just be honest with me. You know? Like, it's not gonna upset me. It's like, oh, I just stabbed my eye. Me and actually Fajiggles had to talk about this recently too, where I told her, like, just say you don't want to do something. We won't do it then. And she's like, okay, I don't want to do it. It's like, I don't care if you don't want to do it. That's fine. We won't do it then. You don't have to, like, well, and it's like, no, just tell me straight out. You don't want to do it. We won't do it. But, like, that's my opinion. Is that I need you to be honest and straightforward. Don't stab your eye again, Sherpy. I don't think autism is just, like, the quirky shit that people try to act like it is. Like, I genuinely still have issues to this day. If you ever see me in public and want to say hi, or, like, eventually if people want to take photos with me, you're going to have to I'm going to have probably headphones on. And please don't sneak up on me and just, like, even if you're doing it nicely and tapping on me, I'm just going to probably have a panic attack. Because I've had stalker issues and, like, people harass me before in public. You don't look this way, and just since, like, 10 and not have people do that, I guess. And if you want to do that, like, stand, I don't know, like, couple feet in front of me, get my attention, and be like, where's my phone? Just be like, and I will probably be like, yeah, But, like, yeah, don't just, like, sneak up on me, please. Because, like, it's, like, I have to wear, like, headphones. I don't have to, but for me to be able to get through a lot of things, I have headphones on. I'm blaring whatever shitty album that's in my playlist right now. And I'm just going. I'm just going, guys. Like, it's not personal. It's just, like, but if you, like, snap me out of that, I'm gonna be like, And if you see me fighting with a man in public, they're where they want to be. Just saying, just in case someone watches this and I eventually do have, like, a boyfriend or something in the future. But yeah, it's like, and I was talking to Danny about this, my roommate, because while I was home visiting recently, I had a really bad day, and this is just what I call my bad days, and I was using this analogy around home that a lot of people were not understanding when I talked about it, and they just, ooh, yeah. Sorry, I just need to get that fucking wing down before I started talking about this. And a lot of people, namely my friends and my family, didn't understand what I was talking about when I started talking about how my autism feels. Because not just like, oh my god, guys, I'm having an autism moment. Like, it's not just that easy to describe to people. Because they don't know. And then finally I used this analogy with Danny when I got home. Because we lived together. And I was like, like, I hit my monitor, sorry. I was telling him, like, for me, like, I was using the analogy that I'm about to say. I know I'm dick teasing it right now for some reason. But I told him that I was telling people, like, with my when my either stress or whatever causes my autism to, like, really freak out. It's like I'm not tuned to a radio station properly in my brain. Like, it's like on a radio station, hopefully, if you're, like, 5, you probably don't know what I'm talking about. But, like, for the ones who, have to work the actual radio instead of Spotify, haha, joke, it was, like, your favorite, like, you're, like, tuning it, and it's not quite in tune. It's, like, the one station over, and you keep trying to tune it to get it clearer, but you can't get it. That's what my bad days on autism are like. Now, when I do, like, fun things, like, talking about X-Men, video games, it's, like, I have the, buttons on my shit saved to my favorite stations. I can just boop, boop, easy. But then when it comes to, like, shit, I have to go out and do, like, everyday stuff, it's like I gotta tune that station to it. And some days, you know, with a lot of, like, work on myself and prepping and, you know, mental gymnastics, I can tune to it pretty easily now. I'm very lucky to be one of those people who can do that, you know, be very high functioning, but a lot of people aren't. And I mentioned it to Danny that I was like, it feels like I can't tune my brain. And he looks at me suddenly, and I'm like, does that make sense? Like, no one else understands that. And he gently, it's like in excitement, grabs my arm, and he's like, that is the best fucking way to explain that, and I've never been able to explain it. Which was, honestly, I almost cried. Here, I'm gonna cry now, thinking about it, because it was so nice to, like, that's how my brain thinks of it. And then it was so nice to actually have someone in that moment, as I'm talking about this, like, feeling, to be like, no, that's the feeling. That's, like, finally, you're like, yeah. Like, someone was like, yeah, no, I know exactly what you mean. And for me, it's either, like, to help tune it, it's like, I have to either have, like, a thing of caffeine, or when I was in high school, I would, like, get a drag of my friend's cigarette. Don't smoke. Or, you know, I have to, like, kind of just be home. And even, the issue is on the really bad days, it's just, like, the antenna on my car is broken. Or on my radio's broken. And even my favorite stations, I can't fully turn to. Like, tune in on. So, especially that day when I was home, from stress and everything going on with the holidays, and then getting sick, and then trying to make content when I was there, and just wasn't working, so I just was like, I need to come home sooner. And that whole day when I was struggling with the fact that I was like, I need to just come home sooner, yeah, the whole day, it was just, it felt like static in my brain. Couldn't focus on the things I wanted to do. I didn't eat. I barely slept the night before, which probably didn't help. And finally I was like, this isn't good for my mental health. I need to just go. I need to go home. I need to come home and do what I do best. Jack shit. And I don't know if it's like that for anyone else, but I thought you guys might anyone else who struggles with autism, or if you just want to get to know me as a creator and a content creator in general, that's how I live. That's why I'm the person I am. And I hope you don't mind me rambling about it for probably going to be close to half an hour by the time I get this out. But that's just how I manage my autism and how it affects me as a person. Managing it, basically, like, to get into that a little more, oh my fucking god, I just dropped my mascara. That's how I fucking manage it. By fucking up. There's like hair on it now. Ooh. Ugh, imagine if I edited this out for you guys, you'd miss all this. That's just how I manage it. It's caffeine, and I have I don't want to say strict, like, routine and lifestyle. I don't. But, like, that's how I used to in high school, back when I had an ED that I can't talk about on YouTube, because they'll take down the whole video. Thanks for that, by the way. And I think that really helped feed into that, because I was, like, able to have, like, that routine of not doing something I needed to do. Oh, I just smoked the fuck out of that. And it really helps, like, that routine. And I don't know about anyone else, but I have found for me, it's easier to form really bad fucking habits, especially with my autism, because bad habits usually feel better than the good ones. But now that I'm an adult and I'm aware of my choices more and how they affect me, now, because my autism, it actually does feel a little easier than, you know, I can get on a schedule faster, it feels like, than some people do. Because my brain's like, keep doing the schedule, keep doing it, this feels good, we feel good, we feel good. There are some times where I wear my body out to a point of depression or exhaustion, and then I have to take a step back, which is why I took a step back from making videos for a little bit on here, because I felt like every time I would sit and record, it was getting to the point where I felt like it wasn't good enough to post, and I didn't want to do that. I didn't want to post stuff that I didn't find was all that good just to post. To be honest, I kind of do that on my TikTok, but it's a little easier to make like a good 30-second video with my tits out than it is like this, where I am more vulnerable with you guys on here. And I want to be more vulnerable on here compared to like TikTok or other platforms. Because I love YouTube. And I don't just mean doing it. I love this fucking site. Even with all the problems, I still love it. Because I was a weird fucking kid with autism who didn't have a lot of friends, like I stated earlier. And tuning on here to watch other really weird, funny people was the only outsource I did have at one point growing up. So that's what I want to bring in again to this channel, to this platform, is people who are honest and upfront and weird. Because, when I'm honest with you guys, I don't ever give a fuck if I'm brand friendly. I mean, I make money doing this, that'd be great. I'd put out even more banger content. I'd do like a lot of weird shit that would entertain you guys. But I don't really give a fuck about sponsors and shit like that. Because why? Because they don't give a fuck about me. Don't ever use this and then have me like sponsored by BetterHelp or some shit. Honestly, if I ever get sponsored by BetterHelp, I want y'all to call my ass out. Because fuck that shit. Like, I don't know, I feel like there's not enough genuine content anymore, and I don't want to be that person. And I'm sorry that I'm talking like this while I'm trying desperately to line my upper lip. And that's, that's not to call anyone out. People do what they want. It's a job, it's a business, do what you want. But for me, and for you guys, just not my style. Not what I want to do with everyone here. I'm gonna be unapologetically weird and obnoxious and funny and autistic, as the video said. And, if you're here for it, you're here for it. If you're not, you're not. People seem to like it so far. At least, last time I looked, all 450 of you. Oh, that was gross. Sorry, I felt like my brain just went back in my nose. And I want to thank everyone for being here and watching this long. This is a longer video, I know, but it's important to me, and it's important to a lot of people. And I want to thank everyone for being here for it. And if you want to stick around, if you're new to my content, stick around. Give me some recommendations of what else you want me to talk about. Maybe doing my makeup, maybe not. Maybe I'll just sit here and talk about South Park for 30 minutes. Or I can talk about Game Crumbs, and there's a Ninja Sex Party poster up there, Legos, and a Goofy movie. You want to hear about a Goofy movie? Yeah. But I just want you guys to know that's how I deal, and that's how I manage as a person. And there is representation out there for all of us. I hope I'm good representation for you guys. And I love you all. Thank you so much for watching. And I fucked up my lipstick just for you guys again. I do every video!